Sergio and I were together for 17 years, and because I still had this old perception of what relationships would look like. So, and I'm really revealing my age here, but like I come from a time where you know when if you kiss the guy, that guy's your boyfriend. You know, so
okay, I don't come
I
from
mean,
that time.
here's me having met this guy, and like immediately, I came from that date. It was a really good date. I was like, okay, well, you know, this is it. I'm gonna delete
It's your
the app.
boyfriend.
No, I'm
It's
gonna
practically your
I'm gonna
boyfriend.
delete the app now because you know I'm Mama, I made it. And that was so quick, you know. This was a breeze. It's like you went for the first interview and you got the job.
Whoops.
So, and I really just thought because he was affectionate, and because he sort of reciprocated, or I felt that it was reciprocated, everything that I was pouring out, and I know now that I was projecting, right? I was projecting all of my bottled up emotions and feelings towards Sergio, and I was projecting it on him. And at the time, I didn't see it as being unfair or putting pressure on him in any way because I didn't ever say it with my mouth. But I did realize as the months went on, you know, that I have, without even realizing it or without that intention, I had put the pressure on him to, you know, sort of keep up. And we won't use that word that is so triggering. And we won't tell all of you what the word is because you might just walk up to me in a public space and then spit this word at me. And yeah, but I thought that we were on the same page, and it was really just me being selfish about what it was that I needed to feel and what I needed to gain out of this. And definitely, I mean, in some ways he sort of plugged that feeling for me. So it felt good, it felt right. I had no doubts that, you know, that this was gonna work and it would be okay. And so, you know, he was very eager to meet my children. I mean, my children were obviously aware of the fact that I had no contact with my old friends and the life that we were familiar with. So I did say to them that, you know, I was considering dating because they had suggested it. They didn't say it in so many words, but I think that they kind of picked up on it. So him being the first new person to come into our house and him being a male and like right on the cuff of us, you know, having a conversation about dating, the children naturally assumed that, ooh, this is mommy's boyfriend. And they didn't say it to me, but they sort of like alluded to it and teased me about it and whatever. And I didn't ever deny it or try to make them believe something else because, like I say, in my mind, it's fuss. You know, it was a hit. No misses here.
Yes.
And I later on got a very rude awakening that I just wasn't prepared for because I realized that while I am still 100% grieving for my husband, I just did not have the emotional capacity to deal with any kind of rejection or hurt. And so when things started to fizzle out slowly, I kept on putting pressure on myself, thinking like, oh wait, I need to, you know, I need to do something. There's something I'm not doing. I need to, you know, assert myself more in the situation and make you more aware of what it is that I'm feeling and what it is that I want. And you know, he just wasn't ready for that. And things quickly.
And neither were you. No, you were.
But yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I sort of had to accept because you're older and you're mature and you understand how emotions work. And I realized that, you know, what I was doing was probably not okay and that I had been putting undue pressure on him. and on myself. And so I very gracefully, stepped aside. And again, here I was mourning my husband very vigorously because that just resurfaced a lot of hurts and past traumas, and feelings of rejection, and just feeling lost and isolated again. And then I was missing someone who was 100% still walking the earth and living and breathing, but I didn't feel like I was allowed to tell him that I missed him, and that I wanted to be with him, and I also didn't want to hassle him or make myself that vulnerable to the process. So it was a lot. It was a lot to process, but I had to sit my children down and say to them, "Look, guys, I know, like, we had a conversation about this, and I get that you got the impression that that was my boyfriend, and I also didn't, do better. I should have probably been more guarded with the information and whatever, but you live and you learn." And I said to them that there are going to be other new faces coming around, but it doesn't mean to say that those are my boyfriends. It just means that, just like when I was younger, when I was in school, it was just easier to be friends with guys because it meant less drama than what the girl friendships looked like. So even now, still, it's easier for me to communicate with a guy and talk with a guy and become friends with a guy because it just feels like it felt like less drama. It's definitely not less drama. I'm learning that as I go along. But I did sort of say to them, I'm sorry that I got them, I can't say that I got them involved in the process, but I'm sorry that I introduced someone to them and I wasn't clear about what was happening with me and that person. So now it's a matter of like, we'll just see how it goes. I'm definitely more for meeting people organically instead of going on an app. I definitely would prefer to meet someone, in a common space and around people that, we share acquaintances with or whatever. But you just never know. You just never know. I'm currently not on any apps. And I can't say that I'll never go back onto the app because I'm telling you, it's so hard in this day and age to meet people, like real people for real, in a real scenario, because, like I say, everybody's just guarded. And you go into a space and you don't know if it's okay to talk to this guy, and sometimes people flirt with you and then they fully married and then their wives are in the same fucking room, which was really annoying.
Or not.
Because they just set you up. I feel like they set you up. People are just dishonest. I think we live in a world that's just dishonest and cruel.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And then men make advances at you when it's not even like warranted. You didn't ask for that kind of attention, and you find out later that this person's actually married, whether his wife was in the room or not, or they're in a relationship. So that kind of puts a damper on things and makes you feel a little bit less secure to go out and just meet people.
Yeah. I think so eventually I went on the apps. My experience on the apps were crazy, because you would talk to someone and then, I don't know, like, what are the apps there for? Is it for meeting people, or is it for free, like, what do the guys want on me? So it's weird. I mean, I met some very nice people from the apps, and like, because of my banking experience, it felt like, righto, I'm selling today. I'm selling a product. I was not the product, but like, I know how to put the game face on.
What do you mean you weren't the product? Of course you're the product.
Yeah, but I mean, I know how to have a conversation. I know how to sell. So I am not nervous at all. I think my only nerves is if you look the same like your profile pic, because that would be, I mean, so we haven't gone through that where it wasn't the same person as the pic. So that was like a bonus. So there was no catfishing. But I don't have a confidence issue. I mean, I'm used to speaking to strangers all the time. But the intention or what they wanted was like, really, is that all you really wanted? It's a waste of time. I have never brought someone home to meet anyone. Just because if I don't see you in the future, then I don't see why you want to meet my kids. And if your intention was purely just me, the product, then that's not how it works. And I'm not prepared. I'm still not prepared to bring someone home who isn't prepared to invest in me. So I do prefer organically because I have no issue with speaking to anybody. And maybe because that's how my old school brain works, that it's just better. I mean, the apps, you could tell someone whatever you'd like them to believe. So you still can't trust the person, because out of whomever I've spoken to, I have said, you are getting married, and most of them will confirm it. I don't think anyone that I've asked has ever denied it. And then instantly you block, or instantly you say, like, really, and please don't tell me it's an open relationship, because that's a lie. Because I mean, I was married, we were faithful, like, again, sheltered. So this world of guys doing this is gross, and then your covenant and all of that, like, what the hell? So that wasn't what I enjoyed, but I mean, I'm still enjoying the experience of meeting people. I like meeting people. I like people fascinate me. It interests me what they do, how they're wired, why they do things the way they do things. But again, a lot of people have been hurt. And I mean, I know we've had this conversation before, but like, you want to say who hurt you to that extent. And I think because our relationships were so like normal, that it's weird. Like, is that what happened in your relationship? Like, is that what or when they say julle vrouwense, or you woman, what woman are you referring to? Because me was not like that, so but I mean, the same for the guys. They can also be paying, they could meet someone else and be like, the girl could be, but you guys all cheat and whatever. But I mean, in our case, it's just weird because we don't come from that lifestyle. So meeting people who are still there it's like mind-blowing to me. Like, okay, the world is actually very bad out there.
With this first guy, like I said, I deleted the app.
Third time.
I deleted the app. The first time that I this was great, this is lovely, and I
And it gets
deleted the app.
overwhelming also.
But that's the thing. So
It's overwhelming.
I didn't entertain any other conversations once I got. Remember, it was the first day.
It was a hit. It was a
the
hit.
first day, and like and not to say that we kissed on the first date, but no, I thought that was very gentleman-like of him. He didn't kiss me on the first date, and I deleted that. But after things fizzled out and that loneliness came back, and I remembered why I was actually doing this, so I downloaded the app again, same app, and I started talking to someone else, and this person, I don't know why there's this expectation that when I'm talking with you, that I had not spoken with anybody else before, and they almost get offended when you say, no, I had spoken to someone else before and I had met someone else before. Then it's almost like, what do you mean you're such a dirty hoe? And it did sort of make me feel very dirty to admit to the fact that I had met someone on the app previously, and that it was good. Like, but we just had differences in opinion about how this was going to move forward, and so we both decided. And I was very honest. I pride myself in not being very honest with the process. So I said to this person, you know, I had met this person, and this was the situation, and that we, you know, amicably we agreed that we were not going to continue with it. He struggled to believe that I had no more communication with this other person. And in fact, I did say, we're not like completely not communicating. I've not had reason to block this person. You know, I still have his contact number and we chat every now and then, but it's like nothing less than, there's nothing more than that. But you know, this second person, we'll call him second person or second guy, because can't mention names, but he struggled to believe that I had moved on from this first person.
Or that he was the only one.
And he struggled to believe that he was the only one that I was talking to in that moment. And I just felt like it would be disrespectful to the process to entertain additional conversations. So when I was talking to this one person, there were other open chats that were sort of going nowhere on the app, where it's just this every day I was like, hi, how are you? How was your day? And then it's that interview process. So what do you do for a living? Are you married? Do you have children? Are you divorced? And like, also, I was naive to the process, and I was a virgin to the process.
You 100%.
So finding out that there's all of those elements, and then trying to build a trust relationship with someone that you don't know is really, really hard. And with the second guy, you know, the conversations did sort of go outside of the app, and then we were in constant communication. And then again, I didn't delete the app. Well, no, I deleted the app, but I didn't delete my account. So I learned from the first time. So I installed the app, yes, because I didn't want to entertain any conversations, and I wanted to pay the same respect to the second guy that I did to the first guy. And now you must know, I'm coming in with that insecurity now that came from getting burned the first time around. And again, no disrespect to the first guy. It's just like, obviously now there's that reservation that's with me. And then went on like several really good dates with the second person. And I mean, he was sweet and charming and very kind and thoughtful and did really nice things, just as the first guy did. And at no point did I ever sit there and think, oh, but they're not Sergio. Oh, but they're not like Sergio. Oh, I wish that he did this because Sergio did it like that. I was really just enjoying being with this whole new person, and then learning the ins and outs of this new person. It was exciting to me. It was also very therapeutic and sort of like validating to know that I'm not the only fucked up one out there. You know, like there's people that like, you know, and not to take away from their experiences, like absolutely 100%, all their experiences and all their hurts and all their things was valid. But it just made me feel a little bit like, actually, I'm not as messed up as what they are. But at the same time, like, I mean, it's okay to be going through my own shit. And you sort of think that they would be accepting of you with your past, given that they themselves have pasts. And in the second guy's instance, I mean, he was divorced, and he has kids, and for him it was a matter of like he couldn't get past the fact that we come from different religious backgrounds, and that he didn't want to, because of his past situation, he didn't want to introduce someone new to the children. So he was guarded, because as much as he liked me, he was afraid that it was going to get to the point where perhaps I would demand more from him. And then, you know, he would be in a position then where he needed to introduce me to his children, and he wasn't ready to put his children through that. Not because of things that he had done in his past, but because of a past relationship that you know, past marriage didn't work out. And it was sad because, I mean, I just thought, if I'm over here sitting on the couch thinking, oh, my kids are going to grow up soon, they're going to leave me, and I'm just going to be alone, and I can't just live my life around them. I know that that's a reality that he's also potentially facing. He might be, you know, in his 60s, 70s, 80s and realize that he's so alone in his house because he prioritizes his children first. But then again, I can't tell him this. It's something he needs to come to the realization by himself. But at the same time, you know, I just love so easily. I love so easily. My heart really just, I have a heart for people. And it doesn't mean that because I love you, so I'm in love with you and I'm obsessed with you. And, you know, love doesn't look like that to me. Love is like a genuine feeling for me.
Because she'll be distracted by the plant that has a new bud.
I like fluff and pretty things, and like it just makes me feel so
But I mean,
good to see life bloom and grow. And so for me, it's easy for me to let people into my heart. And where I struggle with is not letting the people that I let in disturb my heart, disturb my peace, and disturb my self-respect and how I feel on a daily basis. And unfortunately, you know, this guy got to a space in my heart that really just made me wish for more. I actually wished for more with him. Although he was like completely just out of my ordinary and very different, I did find myself thinking about more, and that also didn't work out because you cannot, and I've learned through my relationship with my husband, is that you can change a baby's nappy, you can change the direction of your furniture as often as you want to, but you cannot change a person. You cannot change a man. And a man on a mission is not something you can even mess with. And the worst kind is that the men that don't even know what the mission is. Men that are still figuring it out, and that's not something I needed to get involved with. And so painfully I had to, you know, respectfully remove myself from that situation. Also, it wasn't easy, but it happened. And and that was the last time I was on that particular app.